President Trump made his efforts known freeing the 3 UCLA basketball players detained in China in a Wednesday morning tweet, suggesting he should get credit. "Do you think the 3 UCLA basketball players will say thank you, President Trump?" the president mused. "They were headed for 10 years in jail." On Tuesday, the president indicated that he had a long conversation about the 3 players' situation with his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. The effort was successful as the 3 players, suspected of shoplifting, returned home late Tuesday afternoon, where they may be disciplined by the school as a result of the international scandal. Freshmen LiAngelo Ball, Jalen Hill, and Cody Riley arrived at Los Angeles International Airport after a 12-hour flight from Shanghai. Scroll down for video. 3 UCLA basketball players detained in China on suspicion of shoplifting returned home, where they may be disciplined by the school as a result of the international scandal. Freshman LiAngelo Ball, right, Jalen Hill, background, center, and Cody Riley, left, arrived at Los Angeles International Airport late Tuesday afternoon after a 12-hour flight from Shanghai. On Wednesday morning, President Trump wanted the world to know that he deserved credit for freeing 3 UCLA basketball players who were detained in China over the suspicion of shoplifting. On Tuesday, President Trump indicated that he had spoken for a long time with Chinese President Xi Jinping about the 3 players' situation. The players, Riley, left, and Ball, right, ignored reporters' shouted questions while making their way through a horde of media outside and getting into a van that took off from the departure level. From left to right, UCLA's LiAngelo Ball, Cody Riley, Jalen Hill, and Chris Wilkes posed for a picture before flying to China for Friday's opener against Georgia Tech in Shanghai. Ball, Riley, and Hill were arrested and accused of shoplifting in Hangzhou. They ignored reporters' shouted questions while making their way through a horde of media outside and getting into a van that took off from the departure level. Pac-12 Commissioner Larry Scott said the matter has been resolved to the satisfaction of the Chinese authorities. The players were detained in Hangzhou for questioning following allegations of shoplifting last week before the 23rd-ranked Bruins beat Georgia Tech in their season-opening game in Shanghai as part of the Pac-12 China game. The rest of the UCLA team returned home last Saturday. A person with knowledge of the Pac-12's decision said any discipline involving the trio would be up to UCLA. The person spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because the conference doesn't plan any sanctions. UCLA Chancellor Gene Block said the school is weighing its options. Related articles previous. 1 Next. 3 UCLA basketball players now accused of shoplifting. Surveillance video captured UCLA players including LiAngelo. Feinstein says 36-year-old judicial nominee who never tried. "We can't be mean enough to this guy," Alec Baldwin says. Share this article. Share. 104 shares. Script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p29, page size, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, $, number p29.share, .on, click, function, dms.facebook.post top, related. "I want to be clear that we take seriously any violations of the law," he said in a statement. "In this particular case, both athletics and the Office of Student Conduct will review this incident and guide any action with respect to the involved students. Such proceedings are confidential, which limits the specific information that can be shared." There was no immediate word on the trio's status for the team's home opener Wednesday night against Central Arkansas. The school said the 3 players, along with coach Steve Alford and athletic director Dan Guerrero, will make their first public comments about the matter at a campus news conference Wednesday, but won't take questions. The school said the 3 players, from left to right, Hill, Riley, and Ball, along with coach Steve Alford and athletic director Dan Guerrero, will make their first public comments about the matter at a campus news conference Wednesday. UCLA basketball player LiAngelo Ball keeps his head down as he leaves Los Angeles International Airport. It wasn't clear under what terms the players were freed to return to the U.S., pictured, Ball gets into a van at Los Angeles International Airport on Tuesday. Even before Trump's Wednesday tweet, Scott had thanked the president, the White House and the State Department for their efforts in resolving what he called the incident with authorities in Hangzhou, China. He indicated that UCLA made significant efforts on behalf of its athletes. It wasn't clear under what terms the players were freed to return to the U.S. "We are all very pleased that these young men have been allowed to return home to their families and university," Scott said. LiAngelo Ball, left, and Jalen Hill spending their first day in China on Monday. The UCLA freshmen were expected to dress for Friday's opener against Georgia Tech in Shanghai, but coach Steve Alford announced that neither they nor Cody Riley would play. Scott thanked President Donald Trump, the White House and the State Department for their efforts in resolving what he called the incident with authorities in Hangzhou, China. Pictured, Chinese President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump attend a welcoming ceremony November 9. The Hyatt Hangzhou, where UCLA and Georgia Tech players reportedly stayed ahead of Friday's season opener. According to ESPN, 3 Bruins players were arrested at the hotel and questioned about a robbery at a nearby Louis Vuitton location. Ball, Hill, and Riley were expected to have an immediate impact as part of UCLA's highly touted recruiting class. Instead, they are being talked about solely for their actions off the court. Ball, a guard whose brother Lonzo is a rookie for the Los Angeles Lakers, averaged 33.8 points as a high school senior. The elder Ball played 1 season in Westwood and left early for the NBA draft. The Ball's outspoken father, LaVar, was in China at the time of the incident. He spent some time promoting the family's Big Baller brand of athletic shoes with his youngest son, LaMelo, while his middle son was detained. Forwards Hill and Riley, both 4-star recruits, figured to bolster 7-foot senior Thomas Welsh in the front court. The Bruins traveled to China as part of the Pac-12's global initiative that seeks to popularize the league's athletic programs and universities overseas. The China game is in its 3rd year, and while the scandal was developing, the league announced that California and Yale will play in next year's edition. The game is sponsored by Alibaba Group, the Chinese commerce giant that both UCLA and Georgia Tech visited before the shoplifting incident occurred.